Path of Exile is a welcomed, rare gem of a video game that has been going and has been giving since 2013. So it's as of today's date, July the 4th, 2023. On October, it'll be exactly 10 years that this game has been around. And the reason I say rare is because it's considered an MMO, although some people say it's not, some people say it is. Nowadays the line between, like an MMO, an MMORPG, and an ARPG, a regular RPG, JRPG, those lines are getting more blurred and blurred. Like games nowadays, they incorporate so many elements from, elements and mechanics from different types of styles of video games and incorporate it into their a classic genre. Like for example, Final Fantasy has always been. I'm only talking from the outside looking in. I never finished any of the Final Fantasy. I'm not really a fan, not necessarily because I don't like Final Fantasy. It's just I never really got into it. But all my friends did, like literally, like all my friends love Final Fantasy, and so does the world. I know I'm in the minority here, but no hate against Final Fantasy. I'm just a guy on the outside looking in. But traditionally, they've been a turn-based RPG game, right? From like the first Nintendo game to like, you know, I want to say I can't say the most current titles, but like close to the most current titles. They've always been kind of turn-based or whatever, and then now they're kind of are, but they're not. They're like you can move around freely, you can attack, you can dodge, you can do all sorts of, the combat has changed, it's more dynamic, but it is still kind of in a turn-based realm. Not really, but what I'm trying to say is that it's hard. It's getting harder and harder nowadays to pinpoint a video game, and you know, for different reasons. The ones that I just named are just a few. But Path of Exile, most people that at least that when I read online and the people that I speak to, they call it a MMO because it is an online only game. And not only that, it's also, you can PvP and, you know, do all the pretty much traditional things that you can do in MMO in an MMO, like farming, and in this case you're farming for equipment and stuff like that, and the game just never really ends. You can just, it has like endless replayability. So the reason I call it a rare gem is because this is one of the only games that I've ever played. I'm sure there's other games out there that are like this, which I'm about to explain, which is like they're not pushing the whole microtransaction thing as hard as other free to play games, which I have to mention Path of Exile is a free to play game. And it's great. It's just such a good game, and it's hard to believe that a game this beautiful, like I genuinely would not mind paying a good 40, $50 for this game. I feel like, the online only thing is the only thing that kind of, it's a double-edged sword because like once the servers go off, I don't think you'll be able to play Path of Exile anymore. Not unless they come up with some sort of an update where you can, and play it offline or whatever, which would be cool. And I do wish that more MMOs that you sunk so much time and money into do that instead of just going offline and giving you a salute like "see you later" and then they ride off to the sunset with your money. It feels like, damn, I dumped so much time and effort and into this game, and now the servers are shut down, and that's it. It's especially if you paid for the game in advance, right? Like if you paid for a MMO up front and then you're supposed to have that title forever. That's kind of the agreement, is it not? Like you get to own the rights, a copy of the rights to that game for I heard someone say 100 years, or not someone say, I don't know why I have it in my head that you own that for 100 years. And then after, I don't know if that's true because I don't know if you own this copy for like ever, meaning that like 100 years can pass, and then I can like have my son. I can leave my son the credentials to my PlayStation, and he can come back and play my same copy that I bought 100 years ago. I don't know. Maybe I don't know where I got this information from. Don't fucking listen to me. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm wearing tinfoil hats as I'm speaking, and a helmet with cottage cheese. But wait, that's more autistic than conspiracy. All right, so what I'm saying is that the lines are getting blurred, and also they're not pushing Path of Exile. Grinding Gear Games is the developer, and I think also the publisher. I may be wrong on that note of this game. And I usually when I'm playing in an MMO of some sort, I I feel like they're always kind of edging you towards the shop. Like, hey, buy some cool armor. Buy, some games like I can name a few, but the first one that pops into my mind is like um, Neverwinter. Fuck, man. The Dungeons and Dragons Neverwinter. I think that's what it's called. Don't kill me for this. I enjoyed the hell out of that game. The game was fun. But anyways, they you can literally buy a completely leveled up character. At least the last time I played, which was a few years ago, you could have bought a completely leveled up character from the microtransaction store. And I was like, wow, that defeats the purpose of playing a game, right? But then again, I'm pretty sure there's some people out there who will disagree with me. They'll tell me things like, hey, I don't have the time to level up and grind as much. So I like the option of buying a fully leveled out character and I can just, do end game content with my friends if I wanted to. And I'm like, okay, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't agree with that. I feel like you should earn, even if you can only play an hour a day, half an hour a day, I feel like you should earn your level. But, I'm an old man who believes in hard work and pick yourself up by your bootstrap, kids. Forget welfare. No. But for real though, I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of believe in that too though. Anyways, point is that it feels cheap to me. I can't shake that off. Maybe it's my old school values, and also games that are like AFK games, games that people are just like, oh yeah, I can farm and loot while I'm not playing the game. I'm like, so you're not playing the game, but you're playing the game? What the fuck is this? What world did I wake up in? And those are weird to me. I'm like, if I'm gonna play a video game, I want to play the video game. I don't want the video game to play itself when I'm not playing it. That's fucking weird to me. You know what I mean? But yeah, whatever. I'm pretty sure you'll have somebody that'll give you a great. I can't even think of a good excuse as to why someone would like an AFK game. I could think of an excuse of why somebody wants a fully leveled up character, but why would you? Why would you install a game on your phone or on your computer and then just not play it? Or just come back gradually and be like, yeah, I'm doing something else. I'll just come back gradually and see how my farming's going on. It's like Bitcoin mining, but like the video game version. It's weird. I don't know. It makes no sense in my world, in my space. But maybe there are other video games like Path of Exile or the developers of Path of Exile who have taken this approach into not really pushing microtransactions down your throat. And as far as I know, all of the items available on the Path of Exile microtransaction store are just cosmetic items. It's just a purely cosmetic thing, which is another interesting approach, right? Because you're like, there's no highly leveled up characters here. There's no special weapons. There's no like ESO, expansion packs into a new world with new missions and mounts and, NPCs that follow you around and stuff of that nature. It's just purely microtransactions. So that's why I say this game is rare because it's like, wow, and it's survived obviously. It's been around for going on 10 years if I know how to do math right. And Path of Exile 2 is due to come out soon. So great. That's I'm super looking forward to that. That looks amazing. Um, One other thing I will say about the game is that this game is deceptively deep. It's like, when you first play it and you're just running around Ray class, I believe that's what the world is called, or at least an area of the world is called Ray class. First of all, the aesthetics are fucking awesome. I love when video games take a dark, gritty, you know, I can't say low fantasy. In this case, it's kind of like medium fantasy. It's not super over the top, but it is. I guess maybe because I'm only like level. Fuck, man. I never remember my levels, dude. I don't even think I'm level 30 yet, but I'm in the high 20s, 27 or 29, something like that. And so I can't speak on end game content. Maybe end game content is where it really spices up. I have heard people in like forums and stuff like that when I'm looking up this game online. Some people have said that's when the game really shines, and um, eventually you will need to, you know, start really focusing and fine tuning your gear or min maxing or whatever. I'm not a big min maxer. I've just played games for fun. I try my best to stay in my lane, and what I mean by that is like if I have a rogue character who has like stealth skills or archery or it follows any sort of athletic slash dexterity type shit, I always try to stay in that skill tree. I don't move towards strength or magic or anything of the nature. I always stay in my lane, but like I don't really worry too much about the numbers or the highest bestest gear. But I'm saying that now, and if I do continue to play this game towards the end of you know towards the end game, then maybe I may change my tune and go like, fuck, man, I really, really got to start finding the best gear possible. But this game is deceptively deep because when you first start off in this world, you're running around just whacking things with a stick or a fucking knife or a blade or a maul of some sort or wooden plank or whatever you use to beat the shit out of someone with. And you're like, oh, it's Diablo. I'm sorry. I know they're probably sick and tired. Actually, they're not sick and tired because they themselves, the developers, Grinding Gear Games or whatever, they themselves got frustrated with the lack of content that Diablo was having. And so they made Path of Exile, which is pretty badass, if you ask me. I mean, badass at least video game wise. I don't mean like badass as in like drinking beer in the morning mixed with cereal and going out there and jujitsuing people in public. I mean, like, it's pretty badass that they just say, you know what, fuck it. If they can't do it, we'll do it ourselves. I love that attitude. Fucking love that attitude. But then again, who doesn't? This strong, independent attitude. So, anyways, that's the first thing you get. You get that strong Diablo vibe. You're like, okay, cool. It's just like Diablo. I don't know if they see that as a compliment or they see that as it's become, makes you a little jaded, right? Like, oh, it's Diablo. It's like Diablo. Fuck you and your Diablo. I don't know how they feel. Uh, it's deceptively deep because you're running around just hitting people like a caveman, just like you start off in any game, any survival game, any RPG game, any RPG game, you start off usually with the lowest piece of equipment or whatever. And you're like, okay, this is how the game's going to be. You're just going to run around and just kill mobs with, limited powers at the time. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. You just get stronger and stronger. And it's not till you get a few levels higher and you start seeing the jewels that you have. You get these jewels that you can attach to your sockets, and those are what gives you your godlike powers or whatever. It's not until you start messing around and also not only messing around with your gear, that's when you first get you get in that instance, that's when you get your first impression is going to be like, oh, wait a minute, this game is a little deep. Okay, cool. And then you start to do the menagerie thing. The menagerie is this, god damn it, what's his name? It's this crazy dude that's always helping you hunt these specific monsters, and then you can trap them in this place called the menagerie, which is basically like a giant zoo filled with a bunch of uh, beasts and like mini bosses and stuff like that that you fight throughout the world. And this specific hunter, I forgot his fucking name, man. He's pretty funny too. I like the voice actor who does that character. I should have probably done more research. How many times have I said that so far? I should have done more research. I'm the worst. Point is, you trap uh, these specific mini bosses and stuff like that in this area called the menagerie, which is basically like a zoo. And there's a place inside of the menagerie called the blood altar where you can walk in there and you can challenge the very animals that you trapped. And it's pretty cool. But anyways, that's when you start looking at other things that you can do. You can start crafting. When you can get your own hideout and you can start crafting things and stuff like that. And I'm like, wait a minute, you can craft in this game? You can take your already existing armor, which already has like, random attributes attached to it from, the enemies that you kill, and then you can alter those attributes and add and I maybe take away. I'm not sure if you can take away, but I know you can add. And I'm like, wow, this game is like way more. It went from like, oh, it's pretty deep to like, wait a minute, this is a lot more deeper than I thought. And then now I'm at the level where I'm like, holy shit, dude, everything that you do, there's something attached to it. And it's, dude, unless you have some sort of like a mod or some sort of an app where you can keep track of all of your buffs and debuffs and all that, like I know that it displays them on the top side of the screen or whatever, lets you know what powers are being used, what buffs or debuffs are being implemented. But like, dude, I can't keep up with that shit. Is it just me? I'm not hardcore like that. And also, you can, I believe you can map up to 12 different powers. What the fuck? 12 different powers, dude. I'm using how many? One, two, three, four. About 4 or 5 powers now, and I it's hard for me to cycle. And I'm not a bad video game player neither. I would say I'm in the middle of the I'm mid, as the kids would say, right? That's not even how you fucking say. God damn it. Mid means like it's average, right? Well, I guess you know what? I'm taking it too hard on myself. Maybe that is what I'm saying. I don't know. All I'm saying is that I'm a pretty good video game player, at least average, a little higher than average. Sorry. And it's hard for me to balance between five skills, so I can't imagine 12. That's insane. I guess you got to get on some hardcore shit. I don't know if that's what you need to I'm lying. I do know. I know in the end game there has to be ridiculously difficult content, bosses or dungeons and stuff like that. And you probably do need all 12, and then those probably need fine tuning too, right? Because not only does your armor and your weapons need fine tuning, also your skills and stuff like that, if I'm not mistaken. So it's deceptively deep, and I think that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that a game that, and at first glance, is just you running around whacking things and destroying things with thunder and lightning and like big giant arching swipes and stuff like that. And then you realize that, wow, there's a lot going on behind the hood, and it's hard to even keep track of everything. I guess the best thing you can do is get armor and weapons and skills that all gel with your type of character. That's what I'm doing, at least. Maybe I'm going the right way about this, maybe I'm not. I am playing currently with my friend who is all over the place as usual. I'm playing a duelist, and I'm doing the strength and dexterity thing. I just feel like a fucking tank, to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of tanks in games. When I first played this game, it was on console, and I picked the assassin. I think that's what it is. The rogue, the assassin, the fucking stealth dude. That guy. I enjoyed that type of style or whatever, and I switched over to. It's been a while since I've owned the console. Besides the Switch that I own now, but and then from console I switched over to PC, and on PC I'm playing a duelist, which I do like, but I do feel like he's more of a tank than anything. Like I guess he's agile. He's agile in the sense that dexterity gives you uh, a high evasion rating, so they don't hit you as much. So I guess that's what makes me, you know, nimble and quick. I don't know. I can't. It's a weird mix, of agile tank. It's almost like an oxymoron. Where was I going with this? Yep. I do like that though. I do like the fact that, and not to mention the 10 years worth of content. Like, I know that's always, there's nothing that I'm saying now that's new. I'm sorry. But it is true. 10 years been around, and yeah, I just saw a list earlier right before I started recording this, of all of the expansions and all of the dungeons and characters and NPCs and weapons and all that they've implemented from their first year to their current year, and it's insane. There is so many quality of life improvements, and it's great. Like right now, it's like a fantastic time to get into a game that, like, unfortunately, is being called the poor man's Diablo, and unfortunately, it's being called that by me because I'm guilty of calling it that. But that's not even that. I shouldn't. Even, I should rebrand that. I shouldn't call it the poor man's Diablo. I should call it the. I was gonna say the more affordable Diablo. What the fuck is the difference, right? How much more affordable is free? I would say, you know what? I can't even think of something right now. I guess I would have to go with the more tactile, more strategic Diablo, but then again, Diablo can be tactile and strategic, I suppose. I don't know. This game, since it has so much love and so many years that it's been around, as opposed to, unless you're counting the first original Diablos, but I'm talking about Diablo 4. Diablo 4 just came out not so long ago, and I'm dying to play that or whatever, and I will eventually, but right now I'm in this Path of Exile kick, which I'm enjoying a lot. Um, it's wild. It's wild that it's been around this long and that it's continued to go. And once Path of Exile 2 does finally drop, I believe that they're still going to keep Path of Exile 1 rolling. I don't know for how much longer, but I don't know. I saw a video the other day of gameplay for Path of Exile 2, and I was just like, yep, sign me up. Sign me up. I wonder if that one's going to be free to play too. I'm sure the answer is out there, but once again, I'm a terrible podcaster guy. So where was I? Oh, that's all my notes. Shit. Now I gotta make stuff up. I like it. Yeah, that's the. I mean, that's the best thing I could say about it. I mean, like, I thoroughly enjoy it. I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. I do hope that, although that lure, that the temptation of playing Diablo 4 is getting closer and closer. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like, I almost bought it on launch, and I usually don't buy games on launch. I'm usually pretty patient, and I'll wait a few months till the game goes on sale. And that's pretty hard to do nowadays, right? Because we got social media, and every time you go online, people are playing Diablo or something like that. And you're like, "Ugh," you get the urge even more, you know. Um, I would say the last game that I bought on launch recently was not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Zelda, and I don't regret that at all. The game's awesome. As a matter of fact, when I'm finished recording this, I'm gonna maybe eat a piece of fruit, and then because that's what gangsters eat, they eat fruit, and then play some Zelda. And shit, by the time I finish Path of Exile, watch Diablo 4, be on sale, which is fucking. I'm kind of hoping for that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to run the timer, trying to run the clock out on Diablo. Um, I wish that I can speak more about this tantalizing end game. You know what? Even with I see a lot of people chatting. And those chats are so funny. I never participate in them, but I always see them on the side of my screen, and people just say the most wildest shit. It's always entertaining just to look at it. But more than half the time, it's not even about the game. It's about politics or fucking Joe Biden or something, which makes it even more funnier. But even characters who aren't necessarily the highest level, because I don't even know what the cap is. I think I see somebody at like 65 or something. So I don't know what's the cap, but I hope it never finishes. I hope the cap just fucking just keeps going forever. But even characters who haven't reached the cap and not necessarily reached end game, they're already min maxing. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. That's cool that they're preparing for the long haul, And unlike me, I'm more just like, oh, this one seems better, And but at least all of my armor is. I'm assuming it's gold. I know you guys are gonna laugh because I know there's like orange armor. Sorry, man. I'm kind of a casual, but I know eventually my armor will get good because, like I said, me and my friend are really enjoying this. And even though we've played it on console and we all enjoyed it on console, I played with a few other friends. It was like three of us almost every night playing Path of Exile on PS4. I enjoyed it a lot. Oh, and speaking of which, like it was a weird switch going from controller to mouse and keyboard because I'm torn. I mostly play mouse and keyboard, but when I play controller, it's like it feels right, man. Just I'm not a big fan of the clicking to where you gotta go, the direction you gotta go thing. I feel like that fucks me up because then I'm clicking and I'm running towards a mob and I start swiping and I'm missing because my cursor is far away from. I'm not really paying attention to the tip of my cursor. I'm more paying attention to my guy, and I don't know if that's because my brain has been trained in the console ways because that's what you do when you play with a controller, right? You don't look at the cursor when you play with a controller because there is no cursor, because you're looking at your guy, your character, and then you're just pressing buttons to swipe or whatever. And it sucks because I like both. I like the freedom of the controller, the less fucking everyone knows if you play on mouse and keyboard for a while, your fucking hands start hurting, man. And I've been having less and less of that because I've been getting more used to it. But also, I still feel like some strain on my hands sometimes, so I gotta adjust the keyboard in a weird angle or whatever. You don't have to worry about that with controller at all. You could just like sit. You could literally lay back and play, you know, this game as well as any other game that has controller support. But I'm torn because I love the freedom and the maneuverability. I don't know if I butchered that word. I like the fact that you don't have to point. You just move your cursor to where you want to swipe, and you swipe, and then you can. It's cool. You do your swipe. I'm saying swipe because I'm a close combat guy, or if you're a mage or whatever, a witch, you can electrocute the shit out of people. Do whatever witches do, or you can burn yourself at the stake and save everybody's some time. And then I like the inventory management of the mouse and keyboard. So I don't like the the inventory navigation on the controller because I feel like it's a little more tedious. You know, it's so freeform with the control with the keyboard and mouse. It's just you point, throw shit out, you move. I'm like, oh, I love that. And then you go to the combat, and I'm over here pressing all these keys and stuff like that. Oh shit, I just pressed the key by mistake. I hope I didn't fucking stop recording. Is my okay? Cool. So, oh shit. Oh no, I'm good. So what I'm saying is, it's I'm torn between two worlds here. I wish, as far as I know, I don't think there's a hybrid controller scheme where you can use control scheme where you can use the actual gamepad and then also use the controller, the keyboard and mouse. I think it's just one or the other, if I'm not mistaken. I do wish you can do the inventory with the mouse and then the actual combat with the controller. I don't know. I've read online which one is best, and honestly, from playing both, I can tell you what are you looking for. If you don't care about the inventory and everything like that, inventory management, then go controller. That's my advice to you. Go controller. Fuck it. But if you find that whole inventory thing a little tedious and you're like, man, I don't know what to do. I got to start. How the fuck do I craft? I got to press up 17 times and then press A. And then, then if you get annoyed at that, then stick with keyboard and mouse. I'm going to stick with keyboard and mouse only because the inventory is just way more smoother. And also, this game, I feel like it's not, I feel it actually was made for PC and then later on ported to console, if I'm not mistaken. So, it's lifeblood. It's natural for you to play Path of Exile on keyboard and mouse because that's what it was made for. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna fuck with their system. I'm gonna respect their view. I'm sure they don't give a fuck. They're like, hey man, you want to play with controller? Play with controller, bro. But I feel like this is the way it was intended to play. This is nature taking its course. All right, it's a little. I looked a little too deeply in that, but I do enjoy it. I'm excited because it's I'm jumping in. I did jump in a few years ago, like I said, for console, but I only dabbled. Maybe we played maybe for like a week, if that, and then we stopped. Now we've been playing for the past several weeks, and we're enjoying it now more than we used to, or whatever. I even deleted my old character and everything. I was like, I'm not even gonna go back to that. I'm just gonna stick with this particular character, and I'm excited to see all of the shit that we've. I'm only like on Act 3. I think maybe Act 4. I may have just started Act 4, but I think I'm on Act 3. So I'm still like, fairly new to whatever's going on. I think there's 10 acts. Don't quote me on that, but I read somewhere there's 10 acts. Maybe not. And I heard that you get a scion, a playable character if you complete a particular act. Might be Act 3. Might be. I don't know. I'm only. I try not to spoil. I'm not a spoil guy. I don't like looking up strategy guides. I don't like looking up like min maxing guides. I mean, I think it's cool if you want to take the game that serious, and get like competitive. I think that's cool. That's dope. But like, I'm not. I'm more like, I just want to get really good and just kill shit. I want to be able to just kill shit. I don't do PvP. I'm not a big PvP guy in any video game. But to each their own. I hope this continues to kick ass, man. And I also hope Diablo 4 goes on sale soon. So let's all get together, hold hands, and pray for that. Let's also pray for Path of Exile 3 while we're at it. I had to stop and edit out like 5-6 seconds of audio footage there because all I did was like Path of Exile, good, slurp, slurp, drink. It wasn't good content, needless to say. I also had to think of something to talk about because I was running out of shit to talk about, to be honest. So I guess I'm gonna talk about music. See what I did there? But for real, the audio is fucking incredible. I love the soundtrack to this game. It's dark, it's ominous, it's ambient, it's well done. The voice acting is top notch, man. Like every NPC you speak to, it just brings their lines to, and the writing is superb. And I mean it. I know I'm sounding like a fucking food critic right now, but it's true. I it deserves all of his praise on that. It deserves praise on the entire game. The entire game is awesome, but it's really cool to see that they put a lot of effort into the voice acting, the atmospheric music, and the writing. The writing is great. It's like this gritty, poetic, stoic type shit. It's like dark and it's great. It's just like I would love to read a book like that. You know what I mean? I genuinely would. Um, there's lots to love about it. I probably should have spoke about the music and all that a lot more sooner than to end off the video that way, but hey. I'm excited. Um, let's go. See you guys later.